I always forget to do that one step. All right. So how is everybody doing today? So took a week off, I guess you could say. Um, Still recovering from a little cold here, but I think we should be good to stream today. Obviously, because I'm here. But yeah, a lot has been going on. Obviously, with me and a lot of little details that I can't really get into just yet. But working on a lot of little things here and there and trying to better myself, do what I'm doing. Why can't I access the stitching? Sorry, I'm trying to get my streams up here. The Chad next Twitch. There we go. So cool. And I don't know how good audio. The audio I think is a little loud. Music's loud. There we go. Check. Yep. So, all right. So today I wanted to talk about something that I've noticed that comes up every once in a while whenever I talk with people in the industry or people that have been hurt by others in this industry specifically. And it's people working with integrity. And this one is going to be a little controversial. I'm going to have a little hot takes on this one, but I don't care. There is a certain level of integrity that anybody in the IT field should be working with. And I don't care what your background is or what has happened in your life or whatever. There's a lot of things that can hurt a person and how they approach specifically the IT industry, because we're mostly very secluded people, very non communicative, very reserved, kept to ourselves type of scenario, where things easily bother us whenever it's just people being people. And yeah, there are people in the corporate world that are just a pain in the butt, but there are certain IT individuals, and I think I would include myself in here, that knows how to interact and interface with people that are not of the same cloth, I guess you can say, from like IT perspective, or DevOps, or SysOps, or cybersecurity, or any of the flavors of IT. But I think one of the things that everybody, even outside of the IT industry, I think this is more. I'm going to be speaking more towards the integrity of an IT department, where you don't want to be the toxic person in the department, because the toxicity can actually not only negatively impact the department, it negatively impacts you. Nobody's going to want to work with you. And I've had my fair share of people that have not, that don't know how to work with other people, and they're just, and like, I need to collaborate with them because they have a specific skill set that I need to leverage to be able to get a task done, and just a pain to deal with. But there's obviously everybody has a different personality, different quirks, and that's understandable. That's not the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that actually hold back information to be able to create what's called a job security, or a false sense of job security, because I hold this specific information that keeps the company running. But They can't fire me because I know the secret and nobody else knows it. It's wrong. 110% wrong. I don't care what your level of expertise, I don't care how many years you've been in IT. If you intentionally withhold it just to give yourself a sense of job security, you are insecure. And you're the one that needs to have a self reflective moment and realize, why are you this way? Because a real team player in an IT department knows their strength and knows their weakness. And I know my strengths and I know my strength is that I can literally make almost anything work if you give me enough time, and I'll figure it out. I have a natural intuitive notion to be able to discover or kind of figure out how things work and implement it, and not even just implement it, twist it into different methods to even fit the mold that I need. And I know that's my strength, and people have told me that's my strength. And I recognize my weakness is, documenting and being organized. And I know that that's a weakness of mine that I'm beginning to work on, because it's something that I see that is a potential opportunity for me to grow, be better, to understand how to be more organized makes me better. And I think as I progress in age, that's going to be much more of a useful tool than knowing all the latest technologies. Because if you literally put something in front of me, I'll figure it out. Give me time, I'll figure it out. But organizing myself is a weakness that I know that I need to improve on. And I am. And I recognize it, and I think that's a huge introspective way of realizing, hey, you're not perfect. And if you think you're perfect, there's much more that needs to be, every person has an opportunity. I've always said that this is a life motto that I live by. The day that you stop learning is the day you die. Because every day is an opportunity to learn something new. Whether it's something technical, something non-technical, something literal, something factual, something funny, something silly. You're going to learn something new every day. And if you don't realize that you're not learning something new every day, then either you're stagnant, lazy, or just not pushing yourself hard enough. And this is a straight up hot take. If you don't push yourself to learn something new, you have no drive, no notion, no way of pushing yourself forward. And this is a career, specifically IT is a career where you need to learn how to push yourself to learn something new, because the technologies that were implemented 20 years ago are not relevant today. Some of the standards are, but the technologies, you're not relevant. And if you think that the stuff that you did 20 years ago is going to work fine now, you're in for a rude awakening. And it's the time for you to wake up and smell the coffee, or smell the tea, or smell your cream cheese bagel, and realize the world is moving faster and you need to keep up with it. And a lot of the older guys are very stuck and very stubborn in their ways. And I'm gonna hit that age, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch this video, because I'm gonna be like, no, I need to continue driving myself, and I need to continue pushing to learn, because it's a field that constantly evolves. It constantly, something new is coming out, something better, something fresh, something dynamic. It's never changing. And the moment you realize that this is the field that you're in, you can't be stagnant. And not. The moment you become stagnant, you become useless. And I've told people that to their face. The moment you become stagnant, you become useless. Continue driving to find methods to become better. Find ways to better yourself, or find another career. Oh, I'm going to be full of hot takes today, and I'm talking very, very strong, because I've had plenty of people that have worked with me that I'm looking at them straight in the face, and I'm like, you're so talented, yet you don't realize that you're just bored and you're in a dead end IT job and you have no drive to do better. Why? It's time for a culture shock. And I think it's time for, and I've talked to these people and I'm like, look, either you need to start realizing that you're literally becoming lazy, or you need to go change. You need to have a change of scenery, or maybe rethink your career. And everybody that I've talked to, everybody have spoken to this about, agrees that this is a job that you cannot be lazy on. Cannot be static. Okay, no, you could be lazy if you're smart about it. You can be lazy. You can automate the crap out of things with just a button, and yes, that's fine. But you can't be complacent. That's the word I'm looking for. You cannot be complacent in this industry. You cannot be reliant that the skills of 15 years ago are going to apply today, because Rude Awakening, it's not. And things that I've learned and things I've implemented in the last 5-7 years shows me that there's a constant wave of new things that needs to be done, especially with security, because that is a cat and mouse game. Constantly, you're going to be on the defensive, or you're trying to be on the offensive. There's no in between, and there's no resting on your laurels when it comes to that, because the moment that you get complacent, or you get cocky, or you get not ambitious, you get proud, or you get arrogant. What I'm looking for, you get arrogant about the things that you're doing. That's when you get hacked. And I've seen it happen to the best, and I've seen it happen to anybody that thinks that they're the hot stuff. Doesn't fly. You need to constantly be humble. You gotta constantly be striving. You gotta be hungry. You gotta be working with integrity. The integrity part is one thing that I drive my team, and I push my team to learn more, to be able to strive to be better. And I don't want to be that guy to hold information because I'm holding some insecurity that I have about my own skill set. And I need to have this because if not, I'm going to get kicked out. No. I told them, find ways to get better. Find ways to not only learn things, but find a way to just constantly be hungry to learn something new. And my team has very much appreciated that approach, because I picked most of them. I picked some of them. I picked some of them, and that is a mindset that I have, and that's a mindset that they have. I saw it from interviews. I saw them from interactions, and that strive for hunger is what is more valuable than a diploma. It's more valuable than a certificate. Newsflash, I only have one cert, and I'm probably one of the highest ranked IT individuals in my company with only one cert. And the shockwaves of things that I've implemented in my company is felt throughout every single person, and not just one time, multiple times. It's impacted the company's bottom line. It's impacted the company's performance. So, but I only have one cert. The certs and diplomas. This is gonna be a real hot topic. I honestly don't value certs or diplomas. Just because you're able to read a textbook and retain information doesn't tell me you're a smart person. Tell me how you've implemented your diploma. Tell me how you implemented your certificate. The certifications for A+, N+, Security+, Wireless, CCNA, CCNP, AWS Cloud Architect, Solutions, all of that. Tell me what have you done with it. Don't tell me your papers. I don't care about your papers. Tell me what you've done with it, and I'll tell you if you're cut from the same cloth as we are. Because anybody can read the book. Anybody can have a photographic memory and be able to learn facts. But when you can apply those facts into reality and realize that the reality sometimes doesn't match the certification, That's what makes a great engineer. That makes a great sysadmin. That's what makes a great IT uh, uh, person in general. Knowing facts, knowing knowledge, knowing your OSI model, knowing all the standard ports, knowing your was it RFC 1918, knowing your public and private subnets, knowing all of this, it's nothing if you don't know how to apply it. If you tell me that a 1050.00 or a 1060.00, a 1070.00 are in the same class as a 10.008, you can't tell me that on top of your head, then there's a problem. If you're telling me that 192.168 1.1 is in the subnet of 192.168.00/16, and you're telling me that that's incorrect, we have a whole different conversation. But knowing how to simplify, segregate, kind of dissect a subnet, dissect how the ports, knowing good fundamental practices of IT without being an arrogant douchebag and saying, oh, I know how to do all this because I got my cert and I got this and I got that. Full story, bro. What are you going to do? Where are you going to apply this? Where are you going to apply this? Because I actually had a guy in our department that he was like, oh, I'm the hot stuff. I know this, I know that, da 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 da. But when it came to doing the job, he was very like, oh, I got something to work on. All right, I'm done. Oh, something came in. I'm done. No. Those were I call script monkeys. I call them script monkeys because if you don't give them a guide or you give them something to drive towards there's no ambition. And I do not ever want to work with script monkeys. Because if you're telling me that you have to work by following a guide to the T, if not, you can't do your job, you can't think freely, you can't think for yourself, you can't think critically, tells me that I can replace you with a freaking PowerShell script or some automation. If there's a set of steps that needs to be done and you can't do it, I will replace you with a freaking shell script. And I've done it multiple times where things are tedious and redundant for reasons that cannot be automated. I will find a way to automate it and I will find a way to relieve that position. Why waste the time and why waste the money on somebody that's not having the ambition to grow? This is where working with integrity. Working with integrity, being able to share your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, sharing the things that you have discovered in your career and passing it on, being a mentor. Not everybody's called for mentorship, but if you are, you can definitely run with it. Leading with mentorship, even if you don't value your experience or you think that you don't know enough, because I honestly think that I don't know enough. But if you talk to my team, they will slap me 6 ways to Sunday. And I'm like, I don't know enough. They're looking at me like, really? Really? And I am far from being the best. I am far from being the most knowledgeable person. But I know my stuff and I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. That's what makes me a strong engineer, the admin. And being able to teach and being able to show and being able to mentor, being able to guide guys that have been in the industry for 4 to 5 years with somebody that has 14 to 15 years of IT experience and being able to guide them and mentor them to become better than me. I've told them that they have the capability to become better than me. It's something that I see and I'm like, this is going to be my legacy moving forward for the rest of my life. That if I can mentor 2 or maybe even just one great IT engineer, IT sysadmin, whatever, even a director, maybe somebody that becomes a CIO or CTO, I did my job because I was able to guide somebody down the road of IT and being able to mentor and guide them. That does not go unheard. Being able to teach somebody, it's not everybody's is cut for teaching. I get it, but being if you have the gift and you have the ability to be able to teach, mentor, and guide, go for it. Because there's nothing more fulfilling than seeing somebody that has struggled in kind of getting basic concepts, just grasp it and run with it. It's the most gratifying feeling ever. And if you don't have it, that's fine. There's ways of teaching you. There's ways of like, hey, by the way, just follow this and just impart your knowledge. Imparting it is it's a huge another method of teaching. Just like, hey, by the way, just go here, 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 and do this, 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 and this. That's it. Just gave him breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs to go be able to complete a task or to be able to fix an issue with a printer because Lord knows that I hate. Excuse me, but I think just one of those things that we just need to understand as IT individuals, we cannot be selfish with our knowledge, and we cannot be selfish with our ambition. Not our ambitions, but we cannot be selfish with the experience because we have this lack of security. If you, and I've said this, I think I said this earlier today, or actually earlier in the stream. If you have this, if you want to keep this because you're afraid of job security, you're insecure, and you need to have some real like deep down, insightful, introspective enlightenment over why are you this way? What has happened in your life that made you this insecure? And simple as that. It's get out of your bubble, get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you got to go do things that are not comfortable. And when I started 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't have the knowledge of scripting the way that I control it now. Heck, I was able to write a program. I'm not even fluent in C++. I failed those courses in college. I dropped out of college because of those. Yeah, fun fact, I'm a college dropout. I didn't even finish my first year. But that doesn't determine anything. I don't do good in school. It's who I am. And school preps you for certain things. Doesn't prepare you for everything. And that's one thing that I look for. I look for people that are hungry, willing to learn in ways that a book or an academia can. Because I went to a technical school. They taught you a lot of hands-on stuff, which was very useful. That method was exactly what I needed, and I ran with it. Scored one of the highest, not one of the highest. I scored really high in my A+ certifications. Both of them taken in one day. That was 3 hours apiece, or 2 hours apiece at the time. I was one of the highest scoring students in the class for A+ and Net Plus amongst people that have been in IT for several years. Am I naturally gifted for this? Maybe. Do I understand these things? Maybe. But doesn't explain some people that have just a different concept or different ideology of how work or how IT should be done. But at the end of the day, it's very simple. It's about drive, about being able to push for pushing your limits. Because if you have a great command of IT and you know all the layers of IT between programming, networking, and infrastructure, you can be unstoppable in anything in IT. That means you are a true jack of all trades. Now, I'm not. I'm an advocate for a lot for jack of all trades, master of none. But there are certain times that you need to have that expert. You need to have the master of one in your toolkit. But in this world that right now, the real ones that have the need for masters of one are Amazon, Microsoft, um, uh, Netflix, just the major data center, the major cloud providers, Google, Amazon, Azure. Those are the ones where you want to be the master of one, because that level of infrastructure needs masters. And without that master of one, sometimes you won't be able to do anything. But having jack of all trades in some smaller IT organizations or smaller, even consulting companies, masters, jack of all trades are the best. And I'm a little bit biased, yes, but I have talked to experts of certain fields, in their certain uh, specializations in IT, where if you tell them, hey, you are a master of databases and DevOps and stuff like that. This is an example. And I tell them, hey, we need to do networking. They're like, what? I don't know. Oh, Windows. Oh, I don't know. But that's because that's not the forte. I get it. Like, I don't expect a DevOps that works in Linux 100% of the time to be using to know the ins and outs of a Windows server or Windows domain. There's some things that are some general knowledge, yeah, but to know the nuances and the details of Windows, I get it, and I'm fine with that. I've actually worked with individuals that are just monsters of Linux, and they accomplish these things, and I'm like, how are you doing that? And they explain that they teach, and from those masters of one, I add to my toolkit because they were willing to actually go ahead and what they've learned and kind of understand the concept. Now, I don't absorb it 100% of the times because I don't eat, live, and breathe it every. But it's stuff that it's in my mind. One day that I need it, it's there, and I'm like, taking me a few minutes to remember all the concepts, but it's there, and it just fills out my skill set. And to go to the next step of working with integrity is being able to work with others that have a different vantage. And I'm talking about people in IT working with other people that are not in IT. And that could be C levels, that could be executives, that could be presidents, vice presidents, directors, managers, programmers, even HR, accounting. Being able to speak their language is one of those things. Not to belittle any of them, because they are all individuals that have very specialist roles. But you need to be able to not only respect their roles and be able to respect what they do. Like the person that's working at McDonald's earning $8 an hour, you still have to treat them. Not even $8 now; it's like $14 an hour. But you need to still treat people with respect. I don't care who you are. I don't care what profession you are. I don't care what salary is. I don't care about your net worth. You treat people with respect. Now, that respect is dropped once they start doing a terrible job. And I have had my fair share where my wife is looking at me, have some grace. I'm like, you're not doing your job. And I have somebody that holds me accountable for that. That I get hot headed when people don't do their job. Like, I get hot. Like, I start like, and my wife calls me down, and because she's right. Yeah, it's not. Some people just don't care about their job because they see it as a dead end, and that's one thing that you can. If you're in a place where you see IT as a dead end job, you're in the wrong place. I think I've said that already. But so going back to working with other departments and other specialties that are not related to technology, you need to be able to learn how to speak with them, not only as as coworkers, but as somebody that has a specialty. Because us in IT, I don't understand none of the rules and regulations of HR. I don't understand the nuances of accounting and the tax regulations of accounting and the earnings reportings of accounting. And I will never understand the contractual agreements of certain customers or uh, yeah, they're still contracts. Right? Yeah, or purchase agreements between customers and us, vendors or things like that. There's so many of those nuances that I see as just like they're so overly complicated because I see things that are very logical. It's either one or a zero. It's on or off. But there's a lot of the legalese. There's a lot of the nuances. The okay, you were making this deal. You gotta, there's two sides of a contract. You gotta make sure you're able to honor the contract, honor SLAs, honor this, honor that. I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. Like I don't understand the nuances, but I understand that there's a reason for it. But that's why there's people that specialize to that. That's why there's people that have MBAs that are business law and they know all of these nuances and details of contractual agreements and notary publics and record custodians and accounting and HR and bookkeeping and CPAs and lawyers and attorneys and legal assistants, paralegals. These are all specialists, and I haven't even just like touched all the fields that are even more complicated, like healthcare. The healthcare industry is so vital, where you need to understand that people are smart doctors that are done with technology, and just accept it because they focused on one aspect of their life that technology is for them is just a tool. For us, it's not just a tool. It's basically our toolbox, or it's like even our freaking car, basically our tool shed or our tool warehouse. It's just things that we deal with. But for them, it's just a tool, and it just allows them to do their job much more efficiently, and also makes it much more convenient. Like having medical records being able to be transmitted electronically but secured. What happens if somebody decides to transfer these medical records without encryption, and somebody just happened to sniff the right ports or the right network? That's in itself one of those things that it just terrifies me when I deal with healthcare. I'm like, oh my, sending all of this in plain text. Somebody just sniffs the right port or the right traffic, and we're done. That is a HIPAA violation in its clearest. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like IT, it's not just, hey, I'm fix your computer. No, we got to make sure that the stuff that you transfer to the internet or transfer through the internet, make sure that nobody else can read it. Because even secured protocols are not that secure; they're cracked. And with technology improving and CPUs improving, there's gonna be more mitigations that need to be done to be able to deter that, and like make it okay. With this new CPU, it's gonna take them 5,000 years to be able to crack this password or to break this algorithm, unless there's like a vulnerability that they find. It's a cat and mouse game, and people don't understand that. Like, oh, this is because it's it's so inconvenient and this and that. If it's convenient for you, how easy would it be for somebody else to be able to get? Like, the biggest gripe is having passwords on your desk or even under your keyboard. Because if I walked into your office and I want to go ahead and hack it, what's the first thing I'm gonna look for? I'm gonna look for a password on your desk, under your keyboard, or even on your mouse pad. If you have that there, I can literally just hack the entire system. You just gave me the keys to the whole office, and Lord knows what you can do with that type of damage if you just happen to walk by a desk. And a lot of people use the same password in every single thing. But there's a thing called password managers now that actually generate your passwords with one master passphrase or pass sentence to be able to secure your passwords, and um, having these randomized passwords to be able to secure your system, and also multi-factor with it to be able to do that. Oh my god, it's an inconvenience. Yes, I know, but guess what? They will need to know your password, and they will need to have your phone. What are the chances of that happening? How many people do you see? Oh, I've lost my phone 5 times this week. Maybe you should probably not have a phone, or be a lot more careless about your stuff. So with that, you need to be able to understand that some people don't understand all those nuances, or don't understand um the intricacies of our job. And you got to give them grace. You got to give them a little bit of mercy behind it, because I can nerd out about 1,000 things, and everybody that does not have any passion for IT, I'm pretty sure my wife is hearing this. Chinese. It is. It's all Chinese for people that don't live, eat, breathe this every day, and they don't understand the passion behind it. And that's fine. That's not, that's not a knock to anybody. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. But people that work in law, they love getting down to the letter of the law, or, oh, this could be interpreted some different way. We can probably get away with this and get away with that. That's fine. People nerd out by that. I have so many little side hobbies. I love doing sounds. I love doing music. I love weather. I love meteorology. I love being able to build with my hands. All very like weird things, but they somehow kind of interconnect. But I if I do sound, I'm listening for certain intricacies. Music is a matter of expressing certain expressions of notes, and certain patterns of notes and chords and stuff like that. And meteorology is just critical thinking. Love it. I'm building is just make something out of nothing, or make something out of a pile of Legos. And I've done that. Or like a pile of blocks, or just see things and just start like engineering something. I have a creative / logical method of thinking, which I think completes my skills, complements my skills, because, and I get it. Not everybody has the same passions, and that's completely fine. That's totally understandable. But keep on going on rants here, my goodness. But we need to be able to speak to other individuals that do not have an understanding of tech or IT. Let them know, like, hey, here's what you're trying to do, but this is the better way. And I challenge my team every day. What you need to do is, instead of just fixing it, what is it you're trying to accomplish? Because what they're trying to accomplish might be like, oh, I need to print this. I need to print this paper. In reality, what they just want to be able to print it, then scan it, and send it as an email in a PDF. Really? There's tools out there sometimes that people don't even know that exist. And we are the driving force of being able to assist with the visibility of things that they might never have been exposed to unless we actually provide them the tools. That's an actually great example. The printing of a paper so they can go ahead and scan it and send it as a PDF. I don't know how many people have ran into that issue, and then when I show them, like, hey, Qt PDF, or Microsoft's PDF converter, they're like, oh my god, I didn't know this existed. This is like 6-7 years. Oh, I didn't know this existed, or I didn't know this, I didn't know that. Yeah, dude, fine, it's right there. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you out. I'm here to make your life easy. That's what computers are. They're there to make your life easy. Because you imagine if we're trying to go ahead and make everything that we do on paper. Like, oh, you want to go ahead and research something, you got to go to the library. You got to go ahead and get a book, or get an encyclopedia, or start researching things. Or you want to go to a forum, you're going to have to go to like a local country, not a country, but like a local meet and greet, like a local yellow pages or the white pages, or just think about things you're doing now that you may have had to do completely different 20-25 years ago. This is what technology does. It's supposed to make our lives easy. It's supposed to make our work a lot more efficient. where we do a thing that took us 5 to 6 hours to be able just to do it in 3 clicks, and all of that number crunching is done immediately. That's what technology is supposed to be doing. And yes, people use it for the wrong methods, and it's always been the thing in the world that people use. People use rocket ships that are supposed to take people to the moon and make bombs out of them to bomb other countries. Technology is a matter of the person, the user, at the end user of what it is what that is. The tools can be a tool, an axe to cut down a tree can also be used to cover from. It's not the tool is not the one at culprit. It's the person that's wielding the tool. And yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad. Sometimes the good with IT and computers and all this technology, like how I'm speaking to you today, technologies that are leveraged behind just this that I'm doing was not possible 20 years ago. Yeah, look at this. I'm talking maybe to one person, 1,000 people, or 1,000,000 people. I don't know. Right now the number says 1. I don't care. But people watch this video and people are gonna see this, and that's only capable of the technologies that we've had, developed in the last 20, 30 years. And it's only going to get better. It's going to get more, more refined. It's going to improve, and platforms are going to change. Services come in, services come out. YouTube, Twitch, was it not Venmo? It was Vimeo. That have come and gone, and it's just the nature of things. If you do not innovate, you're going to be stagnant and literally fall off the face of the earth. And people that don't innovate, companies that don't innovate, will eventually fade away. Apple, it almost happened to Apple. It happened almost to Microsoft. It happened to Google. Google was actually one of the unusual unicorn company. That Tesla was on the brink of bankruptcy, and now look at Elon Musk. He's trying to buy Twitter. SpaceX, he's running Starlink, Boring, the one that there's so many things that Elon Musk has been able to build, but it was literally by the skin, like super close from bankruptcy to be able to launch these companies. Look at where he's at now. Took risks, but he was an innovator. He was a person that privatized space travel. I wouldn't say he pioneered, but popularized the electric vehicle. Made satellite internet functional in a viable way. That's innovation. And IT, we need to be as innovative as possible, and being able to explain things to people in a way that they can understand is the way that we need to. The other things that there's can go on for several hours topic, because I can go on tangent for days. And we need to just be able to learn how to communicate. That's a big struggle, a big struggle for us, for IT, because we see things that are extremely obvious, but they're not obvious anymore. We tell them just go ahead and turn off the computer. They're turning off the monitor. They're like, that's not the computer. No, but it's what I see. I'm like, that's a monitor. This actually has been a conversation had. And yes, that's fine. Some people don't understand it, and that's perfectly fine. You just need to be able to communicate it and relate it to how people are, and can't be arrogant. Not be like, oh, such peasants. Yeah, we in from within. And I'll be the first one to admit it. From within IT, we're like doesn't know what the heck he's doing. This is the sixth time I tell him the same thing. And these are supposedly very smart people, like smart in what they do. Just need to be able to kind of push through. One more thing, working with integrity is knowing when not backstabbing. Sure, you need to like. I feel like there could be so many things that I'm not saying that should be like said, but I don't want to like I don't say them because it feels like it's odd. Don't backstab. Don't like push like oh take credit for something you didn't do. Because that's eventually gonna that's a lie and it's eventually gonna get exposed and you're gonna be caught, you know, caught in the wrong position and you end up gonna get fired because oh guess what this guy lied about this what else you see and you know trying to steal credit or trying to lie yourself you know from lie about your resume or lie about your experience that's gonna get exposed man. What else don't cheat the system. Don't try to game the system where you're trying to become trying to get the six-figure salary when you really only need to earn, you only deserve to get paid 40 50. There's so many but I'll end with this point specific. Work with integrity so that people can trust you, because the way that you're going to move forward in this industry is when people trust you, and trust is very difficult to, I know it. I've been fortunate to be able to earn the trust of very high leveled executive in ways that I didn't think I had that level of trust. And that's because I work with integrity, I work with honesty, I work with truth, I work with, you know, I let my work speak for me, but my work is a reflection of my personality. If my personality is a person that decides to backstab or I'm only looking out for myself and no one else, that shows up in my work, and that doesn't show up. I look out for others. I try to find ways to better everybody individually, or if everybody as a group, or you know, find things that can be improved. And I'm not gonna. I'll take like there's points that you want to take credit, but I'm not like oh it's all about me. On the contrary, I try to make sure that there's an opportunity where you know maybe there's something that somebody's able to go do it and I just take it because I know I can do it better than him. That's not right. Now, if it's something that I know that he can do, but he's missing like a piece, I'm like, hey, go here, 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 here. When you get to the point, let me know, and I'll show you how to do the rest. And ask me questions, and tell the team 1,000 times. If you don't understand it, I have no problem explaining it. So, anyways, like as many times as it needs so you understand. Obviously, within reason. If I start telling somebody 7 or 8 times and they get it and then they forget or they choose to forget because I just happen to know it on top of my head, then yeah, at that point, I start losing patience. You know, that's where you have to have that within reason margin, being able to like know when somebody's taking advantage of your knowledge or your experience, and you know, sometimes that's still difficult because you want to think that people have the best in mind, but that's not true. And that's a rude awakening for anybody that thinks that people have their best intentions for me. Sorry, this is not a fairy tale. This is not a Disney movie where everything works out the way it should be. This is if you think that things are going to work out in the end, they're not. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that I've had to I wanted to bring up. I know that there's a lot of little details that I've talked a lot. I've talked for almost 50 minutes. been the most I talked in a while. But I have still some things I'm working on personally. I'm trying to get a video out to do the Windows Server without a GUI like a project or a playlist. I have it done. I just need to record. Just need to hit record and do it. I also have some other ideas of things that I want to improve, to bring to the table. Some more experiences with PowerShell. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna do live streams because I feel like I'm gonna be overdoing my if I double up my tinkering around in a lab with like playlists on how to do server stuff. So that might be something that I might start holding back on for a while, is like these live streams. I start focusing on more video content. I haven't decided. I really want to, but a lot of things I have in mind and a lot of things that I need to start reflecting, because I need time to rest. I need time to be able to spend time with my family, my friends, and just be able to give time to myself. And I feel like now obviously it's where I'm in a moment that I'm becoming I'm spread a little myself a little too thin, and I do want to make sure that I am organized, working on things. I'm organized enough to be able to structure my personal time with my work time, and fun time, and my family time, my video time, and this time and that time, and stuff like that. I think that's the game plan for now. Nothing yet, nothing concrete yet. I do have some ambitions that I'm working on, some other cool things that I might be able to get a hold of to really push my skills forward and further. But I'm very interested in knowing like what you guys really are looking forward to. It's interesting that my channel is growing. I'm at 29 subscribers. I don't know when that happened. I'm at 21 followers on Twitch. I don't know when that happened. So it's a slow growth, and I think it's just being able to maintain it. And I think once I start building out these video series and start actually making a schedule to getting it done, it's gonna be something where we're gonna be pushing. We're gonna be able to. We're gonna be able to come up with something great. Obviously, I look up to a lot of these tech YouTubers, more specifically Network Chalk, Jace 2 Cents, Linus Tech Tips. Those are like the three that I'm seeing and I'm pulling influence of. How I'm gonna approach this live stream YouTube thing that I'm literally been doing it for almost a year, and I've tried different things. I tried music, I tried games, I tried this, I tried that, and I'm just pivoting to something different. I'm learning what really is my passion, what is really what I should be striving forward to, should be what I should be focusing on, what makes me happy. Because if I start doing something that doesn't make me happy, you're gonna see it on the stream. And that's what I want to do. I want to make something that's not only entertaining but also insightful and educational. Like server without a core, server without a GUI. How many people know that they have an environment running on Windows Server Core? You don't need it. That's a very antiquated methodology where, oh, you think you need a GUI for this? No, man. The Windows Admin Center is a thing. Even that RSAT tools exist, and the ability to be able to learn the ways of reducing things for security and also for simplicity. A lot of people I've told them that we're doing server core, they're like, why? But what for? But can you do that? Is that even functional? and open open your mindset to what's actually possible. Because yeah, just because it doesn't have a GUI doesn't mean it's useless. Look at Linux. I think their Linux GUI is terrible, but their command line's powerful. Windows, their GUI is amazing, but their command lines, eh. Now with PowerShell becoming the way it is, it's a whole different mindset. But the only one that has like the best of both worlds will be Mac, and even then, it's Linux. Things that I think people are just being able to open the mindset of, oh, this is not a limitation, this is a benefit. And Windows Server Core brings that benefit of an attack surface, of reduced attack surface, and hardening of infrastructure, hardening of other thing. It's a matter of implementing it the right way, which that is, it's a challenge on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, it's pretty much what's on my mind. Hopefully I get this. But I honestly think that I hope that this whole 1 hour long chat was informative, insightful, not technical at all. I'm noticing that this is becoming a pattern. I start talking about non-technical things in a technical way, and the things that people don't talk about in school or people don't talk about in where. There's things that should be and must be talked about, and technical is only half the job. I told this to technical is only half the job. The other one is knowing how to speak with the people that don't know. Something that can be taught, it's just not easy. Because everybody's like, oh, let's get to technical, let's get to the technical. Oh, you gotta learn how to really like know how to one-on-one with someone. Hey, by the way, you're doing this wrong, and here's the reason why. And know how to be like, not be as confrontational as I just said it right now. Because like, oh, you're wrong, and I'm the right one, and you don't know anything. Being able to say it gracefully. Hey, that's one way, but let me show you what might be a more efficient way to do things. And it's the intangibles, and I said this the last time, the intangibles in IT, and things that I look for in the team, in my team members and employees and stuff like that. What do I see and what do I look for? Is somebody that has that the intangible or the organizational skills, or just that natural instinctive ways of discovering things, or just the organizational OCD-ness of things, and go from there. All right. Well, I'm ranted enough for literally an hour. Guys, just thank you for joining. I'm gonna have you, obviously I have this on YouTube, and it might be on Twitch for a little bit longer. But thank you for joining. Hit me up on YouTube. I also have my Instagram. It's all Jay's Tech Bites. My goodness, I can't speak. Links are in the description. Links are wherever things are linked. I have no idea where anything's linked anymore. But I have Instagram. I have YouTube. I have Twitch. And hopefully I have some more material coming down the pipeline once I get more time. Time right now is a little short, in short order, but yeah, I like to ramble, so sorry. All right, guys, you guys have a good night, and I will see you next week. Later.